Hi, come on along with me as we visit a few more of Oregon's ghost towns. This is only a half hour out of 3.5 hours that my late wife and I recorded back in 1989. These are some beautiful mountains just north of Richmond. These mountains are on the drive between Fossil and Antelope. No, this is not Arizona, this is Oregon. against that rock there. Looks like a man standing there. Now this is the old school at Clarno, Oregon. Now this is Antelope, Oregon. Looks like an old hotel here. This is on the road to Shaniko. Now Shaniko is having their annual get-together celebration of Shaniko Days. That's the next town here. Shaniko is probably one of the most interesting ghost towns for a tourist to visit. The local people have been trying hard to restore it. It now has a population of around 30 people, and once a year they have open up a few of the shops around here and have things for tourists to see. You can see some of these buildings here have been kind of restored. These buildings right here in the front by the old railroad car have just been kind of propped up, just a couple of shells. But they are changing things. The thing that built Shaniko was the wool capital of the Northwest at one time. There's so many sheep around here, and it was a good stage stop, and they had a natural spring. Anyway, the water's really good. Now there's some people getting together to try to restore this old school here. We're going to show some pictures inside in just a little while. This is the old water tower. We're going to also look inside of it in a little while. This is the hotel. It's been completely restored from just a shambles. They serve good home-cooked meals here. we ordered some eggs and hash browns, and we got such a big platter that we were really surprised, and the cinnamon roll was as big as a loaf of bread. We've got some old wagons here. Shaniko was once an important stage stop on the way to the Dalles, and it's easy to get to. It's just a few miles north of Madras, Oregon, on State Highway 97. The museum is closed today, but this is what all's inside of it. You can see. Since Shaniko had a good water supply from 2 springs, they built this big water tower. It had 2 big water tanks up in the top of it. This is the pipe that goes up to where the water tanks were up on the top there.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
This is inside of this old Shaniko school.
It said it was built in 1901.
This is on the road to Ashwood. That looks kind of like some carrots up there. This is between Willowdale and Ashwood. Eastern Oregon has some of the most beautiful scenery that you'd ever find this side of Arizona. We don't have to drive that far to see it when we live in this part of the country. Those two rock formations there look just like elephant heads. This one too. This small settlement here is about 3 miles northwest of Ashwood, and we're going to go by some more scenery on the way out of this area. I hope you've enjoyed this journey into the past. There seems to be a hunger nowadays to return to a lot of the old ways, and that includes the spiritual as well. These old ghost towns really represent something to me, because I once went after money and the things of the world and just ended up empty, just like many of these are. It seems like only God, the one that put us here, the master planner, has a plan for our lives that will really make us happy and satisfied. He seems to know the best. Anyway, when I first started trying to find the Lord myself, well, I tried many churches. Some of them have a form of godliness, but then they deny God's power to heal and direct you and make your life line up with His Word. Others really do have the power, but then I noticed that they had women teachers and other unscriptural things that weren't right either. It was about 15 years ago, one day, while going from one church to another, we'd gone to a real good church in Parowan, Utah, and on the way back we were just leaving City, Utah, when for no reason at all I felt the power in my hands like electricity, the same as when I first got forgiven for my sins. So I raised my hands up, and suddenly we were no longer at Cedar City, Utah, but we were translated clear to Hurricane, Utah, which is about 30 miles away. At this church, well, we heard of a man who accurately prophesied over 100 different things, William Branham, who seems to fulfill the last two verses of the Old Testament, and also Matthew 17:11, Elijah, who is to restore all things. It seems like if our heart doesn't condemn us, the Scripture says whatever we ask, we receive, because we keep Jesus' commandments and do those things that please Him. This is really the true riches. Just being lukewarm doesn't really work. Only if we're willing to live by every word can we be led into the truth. If your life resembles one of these old ghost towns, it's just my prayer that you'll seek the Lord for yourself, make things right with Him, and let Him restore you. Thank you very much.